If you're coming to Iceland in November and you're wondering what to wear, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll go over the weather, daylight, the northern lights, what to wear, and I'll give you a few examples. No fluff or anything like that, just straight to the point. So let's get to it. Winter has arrived. It's colder and windier, but not cold enough for consistent snow. The temperature will fluctuate between -1 degree Celsius all the way to 3 degrees Celsius. This means you can expect rain and sleet. Great fun. You can also expect it to be windy. Sometimes a little bit windy, sometimes a lot windy, but always windy. So if it's a calm day with little to no wind, make sure to make the most out of it. As I said, it's probably gonna rain a lot, but if we're lucky, we might get a little bit of snow. However, if you're in the south, it'll probably disappear very fast. If you're in the north of Iceland though, you can expect more consistent snow starting in November. So to recap, cold, windy, snowy, rainy. The days are getting even shorter now, and we're starting to feel it. At the beginning of the month, we'll have around 8 hours of daylight, and by the end of the month, it'll go down to 5. In November, you want to start planning your daily excursions around the daylight. Get up early and hit the road while it's still dark so you can enjoy the places you want to visit with the sunlight. You can absolutely see the northern lights in November. The days are getting shorter, so we have plenty of darkness. Make sure to put on all your layers, all your outdoor clothing, because you'll be standing still for maybe a long time. There's no one place to see the northern lights. You'll have to find them yourself or take a tour. And now for the main course. Let's start with base layers. We recommend thermal underwear all year round. They keep you warm, they dry fast, and they breathe well. Absolutely bring a pair with you. For mid layers, you can go with sweatpants, a wool sweater, something that breathes well, or just a regular sweater. Preferably from a sports brand, because they tend to breathe better. The main thing about the mid layers is that you want them to be breathable, which is why in most cases I recommend garments from a sports brand, because those items tend to breathe a little bit better. Then for your feet, good socks and hiking boots. I recommend merino wool for the socks. They breathe well, dry fast, and they'll keep you warm. They don't have to be super thick, but don't get them very thin either. It's so important to be wearing good hiking boots. You want them to be waterproof, have good grip, and provide ankle support, especially if you're going glacier hiking. And also, if you're walking in the snow, if the top isn't high enough, it's much easier for snow to get in there. And you can rent all the outdoor stuff right here with us. So leave the large bags at home and just bring a carry-on. Use the discount code November for 10% off at icelandcover.com. For outer layers, you have two choices, a parka or a shell. But let's start with the legs. You'll want to be wearing outdoor pants to protect you from the wind and the rain. It'll make all the difference, trust me, especially if you're looking at the northern lights. But back to the coat, let's start with the parka. The parka is made for extreme conditions. It's highly water resistant, windproof, and it'll keep you warm. If you go for the parka, you won't have to put on as many layers underneath, especially if you're wearing the outdoor pants. For layers, thermal underwool would do most of the time. And then if the wind picks up, you just add more layers underneath. If you choose the shell, you'll have to wear more layers. The shell is highly water resistant, windproof, and it's breathable. It allows for a little bit more flexibility depending on the circumstances. But for the most part, you'll have to put on more layers. For example, a thin down jacket. Now, you can also go for a sweater or something like that, but the main thing is that you'll have to wear more layers underneath to keep yourself warm. Most of the time, I recommend the parka. It's warmer, and if you're doing daily excursions, like going to the waterfalls, it's more likely to cover all conditions. And because you won't need as many layers underneath, it's not as much of a hassle when entering buildings, which can be very warm. You can also start thinking about getting some crampons for November. We're not gonna have a lot of ice, but it's starting to appear. I recommend just making a decision once you arrive into the country, because there's just no way to tell. Put on a beanie and some thick gloves, and you're good to go. And that's it, you're ready for Iceland. Now this is gonna be a cold day. Thankfully, it isn't raining, but it's gonna feel like -3 degrees Celsius. And that's because of the wind. I recommend base layers, outdoor pants, and a parka for these conditions. And of course, always have a beanie and gloves with you. Now this is what we call window weather. It looks warm on the inside, but once you go out, it's really cold. Wear thermals and outdoor pants. And you can choose between the shell and the parka. You're probably gonna need some extra layers if you're wearing the shell, but you can just keep them in a bag or leave them in the car. Now this is a very bad day. We're getting close to a yellow warning, which means it's very windy. It's raining, and because of the wind, it's coming at you from all directions. You'll definitely want to wear all your layers, your base layers, your mid layers, and your outer layers, because the temperature will feel a lot lower than it actually shows. And that's it. I hope you have a better understanding of what to expect and what you need to wear when you're coming to Iceland. And remember, you can use the discount code November for 10% off at icelandcover.com. But that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.